Dreamer, and Tommy Dreamer loves the wrestling business, and Tommy Dreamer loves being. He's kind of got the qualities of the Mick Foleys or the fucking, just guys like that love being around the business and love being involved in the business. And he's always tried to help the younger guys, and he's worked hard, and in his career, he overachieved probably, as he would probably be the one to recognize, not built like Lex Luger or, possessed of some kind of outrageous nature boy Ric Flair gimmick, but still he had a career where he was a star. And I have not really, except for a few fan fests, I haven't seen Tommy in 15 years, and maybe longer than that. So it's not like I've sat down and had multiple conversations with him where I discussed his philosophy on wrestling and his approach and how it compared to Eddie Graham's or whatever. But he was the one that they sent down when old Johnny Laryngitis took time out from helping the chairman shit on people's heads to fuck with me at OVW. He had suspended me for 6 weeks one time before he fired me. He suspended me for telling old Seven that if I ever saw him fucking wear a baseball cap in a match again, I was going to cave his head in with a baseball bat. You can't say that. I said, well, he can't wear that. So he gave me 6 weeks off with pay. But they sent Dreamer down to book the show. And while I was trying to sit at home and engage in trying not to be burnt out mentally and wanting to murder these people for the constant aggravation, I figured, okay, I told Daddy Davis, just don't let him fuck it up too bad, right? I'm not even going to pay attention.
Ooh, that's a lot.
And then Danny called me.
Said, well, go with it. 2 pairs, though. 2 pairs.
He started a mystery.
Oh, he had it straight.
Where's Cornette? Nobody knows where Cornette is because
God damn it, I didn't see that.
I just relayed the message that
wasn't paying attention.
They could say that Jim Cornette is. I can't even remember what some innocuous business thing is on a tour of the West Coast scouting for new talent for the program.
Whatever, always. Right? Every time I start playing poker, it's always going to be a rough go at the beginning.
Everybody's coming, where's Cornette? And calling attention to it. And I come back after 5 weeks to book the 6th week TV, and Dreamer's already left town, gone back. And I said, well, what's the goddamn finish? Where was I? And they said, well, Dreamer said you could just figure it out when you got back. I go, what the fuck?
Man, what kind of cards are these?
A murder mystery and getting all the way to the last chapter, and you've never had the idea of who the murderer was to begin with.
Garbage cards.
So I just came out and said there was goddamn people trying to undermine me in the WWF offices in Stamford, Connecticut. And on the advice of my legal counsel, I stayed off the air until I was able to speak about it and prove who had been spreading horrible words about me or whatever the fuck.
I should have bet something higher because I mean I would have 3 of a kind.
But yeah, it's just he loves the the gimmick
I was
matches
hoping for
and
someone
the
to call something
and the
else.
things that the kids like.
We're playing knockout tournaments where our stakes keep rising up.
The marks I'm talking about that are in the business, and no. So that's that Tessa quit. They specifically said, Tommy Dreamer, you need to go away. And then others. And the other, who they didn't mention his name, was the little fat warthog, Sammy Callahan. Apparently, they at one point made him their champion. Good God.
2 pair.
But what was the heat so bad there that they wouldn't even mention his name, or did they just not give a shit about him anymore?
He was like the professor and Marianne on season 1 again. And the rest.
2 pair.
I don't know.
Let's go.
I'm not exactly sure. I don't know too much about it. I don't know if I've ever actually seen this
double
guy
ace.
wrestle. I've just seen the name. But
holy Christ!
I guess it says something. Tessa,
I've seen him wrestle. I've seen him wrestle. I've seen him get fired.
Oh my God!
They felt all right announcing Tessa and Dreamer. They didn't announce him. He was and
Let's
others.
go!
I believe there's other office staff also that have left the company now. And
I believe I won.
James,
Brian
look
at that! I just knocked them all out.
I guess currently the head of creative is Hunter Johnston, Delirious, who
has
been there for a while. I think.
Trying to get this ring progress. I want to see what that's all about.
What do you think about that?
Okay, let's do it again.
Does it tell you anything more about
try
the
to get
WWE
this
TNA
fancy ring?
And the realities of it if the Road Dogg is all of a sudden the head of creative?
Well, but hold on now. And I haven't talked to Delirious in ages, and not like there's no heat. I won't talk to that guy, but just, he's like me. He immerses himself in the booking, and he's doing that, and I'm here, and we have stayed in contact and emailed or whatever every so often. But I always thought that Hunter was the best balance that I've seen in modern wrestling of tolerating and even encouraging the newfangled stuff, and knowing how to talk to the new boys the new generation, while at the same time having not just some, but having a good grip on wrestling logic and how to get people over and how to make the shit make sense from show to show and month to month and etc. And obviously, as we've talked about, I don't know what anybody individually has been doing over there and what the creative situation is, but anytime you have a creative committee,
I got nothing.
You don't have a fucking
nothing I can do.
A vision of a guy. You have a bunch of stuff being thrown in, and who knows who has final say. If Dreamer if the head of creative is up in the air, assumingly that was Dreamer. If he's gone, it's now open. But I would think of anybody that I've heard so far, Delirious is a keeper. And he obsesses over this shit, and he's a workaholic.
Oh, yeah, that's straight.
Like that. I know I spent a couple years working with him.
I gotta pay more attention to the river.
Did you say someone else was on? Did you mention another creative name?
There's a rumor that this is all to set up the Road Dogg, Brian James.
Well, no, but I mean, was there somebody else who else is currently on the fucking thing?
I didn't mention another name, just Hunter.
Okay, well, so if it's, then in that case, point is, if here comes Road Dogg, he's a member of the Armstrong family. Regardless of what he may have developed an affinity for over the last 20 years, he knows fucking wrestling. He knows wrestling logic. And I think that maybe those two, if it was just them, would probably
I only got a pair of sevens.
Better, work better together, get more accomplished than 3 or 4 or 5 other people that all had completely different views of fucking wrestling, and their different favorite people and their different shit they want to do, and they're always fucking
nothing still
griping at each other. If you had Road Dogg that could give
something,
the real veteran viewpoint of the thing, and from a major league television level, but at the same time you've got Hunter, who can still talk to the younger generation, and he was one of them. He was the one in the middle of the one today and Brian's. So you've got to have people that can work together and just do something that resembles a coherent whole. It's like if one people or 2 people can write a book and work together or make a movie. But when you get 5 or 6 of them, you just end up with a goddamn mess.
Probably got an ace.
So let's see what they might be able to do. But for if I could probably get along well with Brian in a booking room, and Hunter and I got along better than anybody I've got along with since Danny Davis.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So hopefully they could get together on things.
To my other question, then we can move on. If the former head of SmackDown's writing team and a Triple H friend ends up as the head writer or the head of creative for TNA, what does that tell you about the relationship?
I don't know if it tells me much about the relationship as much as Brian may say, well, goddamn, just because I quit that fucking madhouse, I still would like to have a job. might need to, have a little income, and would this be less stress and more time at home? And if so, then he might take it.
But I guess the bigger question is where the job comes from. Do you think this is a WWE thing? We'd like you to hire him. We'd like him to have this job.
Well, no.
Thought he had a queen for sure.
Just call me crazy. But in the old days being up until, modern times, few years ago, if somebody who had done something at a high level left that place and was available, then they would be booked somehow. They'd be booked as a wrestler, or they'd be booked to do signings. Well, here's a guy that's been on WWE Creative.
He didn't want that
TNA
smoke.
Works with him. Probably some
didn't
of the
want
fucking
no
folks
smoke.
in TNA know Brian. And they might think, well, fuck, he didn't want to deal with all that shit anymore over there. But over here, it'd be fun for him. And they pitched to Carlos Santana, whoever the fucking boss is over there. Hey, what about Brian Armstrong? He has worked with the WWE.
Nothing.
It doesn't have to come through the office. Or maybe Triple H felt bad. Well, I love the guy. He's one of my friends, but we drove him out of his fucking mind.
Apparently he had nothing to do.
It'd be more fun for him over there. Or he could spend more time with his family. It's not like a conspiracy.
And TNA is not like a wrestling company. That's the TNA business news. TNA changes. Changes.
Well, you should turn and face them, Brian, and I'll tell you what else you ought to do. You ought to recognize that at the end of the day, it's all about when you lay your head down on a pillow and you rest your weary bones at night. You want to have happiness. You want to have happiness in your life. Instead of all the stress, all these high stress jobs and all these pains in your ass. You don't want a pain in the ass or a pain in the back or a pain in the neck. And if you don't want any of those pains, you know what you ought to be sleeping
Jack,
on, don't
Queen,
you?
King.
A Helix
Believe
sleep
that's
mattress,
a straight.
I'll have you know, and I'll tell you what.
That's right.
Because as Mama Cornette would say, ooh, boy, she had a slip disc and slept on the floor downstairs on a sleeping bag for about 3 years on a hard, flat surface to cure her back pain.
You had a pair of
and that's the only thing that did it. And now, if Helix Sleep had been around then, why, she could have slept up in a bed like everybody else, regular folks, instead of being down there on the floor. Because they've got all kinds of... go ahead.
I was going to say, they used to be a good record shop in Valley Stream, Slip Disc Records.
Oh, I thought you meant sleeping on the floor.
No, Slip Disc.
Oh, well, your discs are going to be turning like goddamn buzzsaws on the Helix Sleep mattresses because they're not going to slip at all. Because Helix makes mattresses for people with back pain, or for people that like to sleep on their stomach or their side, or people who sweat at night, they'll cool you down. Or people that get the jimmy legs, and it's the whole bed and the whole mattress is shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds. They'll make mattresses to calm everything down. They've got over 20 mattress models. So you can find the perfect one for you if you want something hard and firm, but still with a little padding, unlike my mother's sleeping bag. Or if you want something so soft, it's just like jumping into a giant cloud, a marshmallow, a puppy's belly, where you'll be enveloped in warmth and cuteness. And then they'll just wad you up like a Kleenex in this mattress and just throw you out the window, never even know you're there.
Not gonna happen.
Anything that you want.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing to call.
At helixsleep.com. And right now,
that's garbage.
I'll have you know that the 4th of July sale is in effect, Brian. And that means that not only is everything
I got nothing, bro.
Helix Sleep, the seamless returns and exchanges, so you don't get
that is some
bound
bullshit.
up in all that red tape. The Happy with Helix guarantee that offers the risk-free customer first experience and free shipping.
Wow, that was some bullshit.
Now, for the 4th of July sale until July 6th, you're going to get 20% off site-wide with the code helixsleep.com/JCE. But wait, there's more. 20% off site-wide, 25% off of the Luxe mattresses, the Luxe, Luxe, which is short for luxurious. And you get an accent much like Terry Thomas at a 60s comedy when you lay on it. It's luxurious. And 30% off all the Elite mattresses. Those are the big boys, the highfalutin stuff that'll make you sleep like the governor or a senator or even a goddamn movie star because they're elite. And that's so 20 to 30% off depending on what you're buying. How can you go wrong at helixsleep.com/JCE? Even you, Brad, have you had any more kids lately? They got
oh my God, really?
Too. Do you need any more of those?
I'd always love to have more. It's so wonderful having a big family.
Oh, no, I thought you meant mattresses.
And
I mean, you need more mattresses. You can get 20.
Bed. Yes, of course.
20 to 30% off now. Even if you have the same kids you've got before, right? But they're sleeping on the same mattress. I know these things last forever, but just for the sake of supporting our sponsors, I think you ought to get a new set.
I think that's a great idea.
Either that or make them like get 2 mattresses for each kid. You can put one under and one on top. Make them like a kid ice cream sandwich.
Now there's where we get
I
to
would
the
go in,
but
man, all my cards are just
in our heads.
garbage.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen,
well, I didn't mean to put them in the freezer, though.
Like
just make them a little children's sandwich. That would keep them from wandering around late at night where they could hurt themselves.
That's not how that works.
Keep an eye on where they are. Prevent wandering.
Those poor puppies.
No, come on now. I don't put the mattress on top of them. They're as a matter of fact, as I look in the pen now, they've both burrowed up under their little bed, and the bed is on top of them.
Maybe one day we could aspire to be in a country, in a land that makes high-quality dog mattresses, but until we get there, Jim, Helix Sleep for you and me.
Just got nothing for cards, man.
A great deal for the listeners.
Well, and we got the kids' mattress for the puppies. We're waiting because we don't want them to pee on it, because then, we'd have to send it back, and Helix wouldn't like that. HelixSleep.com/JCE, 20% off side-wide, 25% off the Luxe mattresses, 30% off the Elite. You can get something off anything. So get off on Helix Sleep mattresses. HelixSleep.com/JCE. Helix Sleep.
Driving me nuts.
Well, now we've talked about
20 minutes of this shit so far. Nothing.
Let's go to a third. AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, June 17th. And again, people said, Cornette said he wanted to go watch the show, and then he is talking about the show for the past few weeks. Get the picture.
This guy's just playing like such assholes.
And have been for the past several weeks, what they're going to do with MJF and Ospreay to get them into a main event position for this fucking stadium show. And that's why what I've been concentrating on. But then this past Wednesday, after I saw what they did to them on this program, you said, but did you see the so-and-so? Or did you see the such and such? And I thought, all right, we've got a couple of things that we've got to acknowledge here. And we're going to talk about it here in a few minutes when we get the Uncle Dave side of the story of exactly what to blame for this show going to shit. But the crowd, it was like they held a gun to these people and said, go inside and watch this. We've got your family. A couple of times they got a little, but otherwise it was, and it's not a surprise because they talked them to death with these boring, contrived, convoluted, artistic renderings of monologues that these fucking amateur actor studio dropouts keep trying to do instead of just giving them some reason to like people, not like people, and then make them fight.
Now all the cards are starting to...
It's gotta be...
starting to come my way here a little bit.
This was the worst I've seen for the promos
could have a flush.
That started slowed down, people tuned out, zoned out, they didn't care, and it killed the whole goddamn show.
At one point, They had a wide shot from up high. So you could see all the people there. It was a nice crowd. It looked good on TV. But it was like they were watching a movie. When they did this shot, everything was still. Like everyone was watching a screen. No one was jumping up. No one was breathing. No one was moving. No one was doing anything.
And the arena looks like a little bit larger version of a movie theater anyway. They're coming out where the screen is. There's the ring, and then it even looked like exit lights.
You're
so
a
you could
dick.
see people going to the popcorn stand.
Why do a wide shot if
this
the
what
crowd
happens
is
every
still?
time, man. The bets
They
get too
were
high,
still.
and then I just get
And I think there were a
fucking
couple problems.
bullied
Sometimes
out
you
all
run
my
into,
money.
I'm sure you have. A bad crowd. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's just not the right crowd for what you're doing. And then sometimes the chickens come home to roost. The booking is uninspiring and uninspired. The AEW fans believe that the hot matches are the key, and they'll even try to justify the promo skills and the booking and everything else there. It was so bad this week. I asked you to watch some stuff on this because I told you, I said, don't even watch the matches because no one gave a fuck about the matches anyway. But every time someone got on the mic, they somehow made it worse. They somehow took this crowd and just made everything worse. And it was a sorry, sad episode of Dynamite this week.
It's a sad
Nothing.
situation, and it's getting more and more absurd. All right, well, they started the show off, believe it or not, with a promo, but backstage, MJF with at least the entire uninjured in-town members of the Don Fallis family, and they were going to choose his teammates because they've had the brilliant idea of the 12-man tag. More on this in a minute. But they're standing in a stairwell in the building with an echo.
Too
I
bad
know they're running
for
smaller buildings,
me.
but is this the only place in that structure they could get 12 guys? What? When they do that, it's so minor league. I mean, I've done it in Ring of Honor when we shot with VHS cameras or
Of
OVW or
course.
Smoky Mountain. But this production has a budget. Do you need to be in a stairwell with an echo?
Do you need to fly in all the members of the Callis family who never wrestle on Dynamite?
Well, they might have been picked. See, you never know. Fly in, El Clown, just in case. But of course, and poor Cal
Bullshit,
Felcher,
man.
They've
This is
got
some
his head
bullshit.
completely shaved now, and there's a whole thing, and he's trying to look tough with the condescending expression. He's holding his head, but he looks like a 40-year-old truck driver. Looks like Doug Basham did
Just
when
need
they
a jack.
shaved his head on me at OVW.
Okay. Hope for a jack. Hope for a jack.
MJF does the promo. He knocks Swerve and Ospreay. Blows off Andrade because they've got that thing going that Andrade don't want anything to do with him. He wants a title match
Shit
with him.
is frustrating.
MJF cut a promo on Mark Briscoe and finally had Don reveal the team. And it's Kevin Knight, Cal Felcher, Jake Doyle, Boring for some reason, and Andrade, of course, because then Andrade can get pissed, and then Don tells him, do it, and you'll get your title match later. Andrade's dressed like a cab driver. But the deal is they're having not just a 12-man tag team match at the pay-per-view in a cage,
Ooh, that's
but
high.
they're having the 12-man tag team match tonight on this TV show and then bringing it back next week in a cage on the pay-per-view. And that's like me telling you, Brian, okay, I'm going to cook you a steak dinner with all of the sides and the trimmings, and it's absolutely free. Go ahead and eat the whole goddamn thing. And you do. And I said, was it good? Yeah, it's great. Good. Now I'm going to make you another one. I'm going to change the salad dressing. I'm going to charge you $50. You're like, well,
See if we go with some
I
extra
think
money
I'm
here.
good. What? And the reason, apparently, why they're going to have the cage match that they've already booked and already announced before this is because even in the match that they have, which we will talk about soon, it wasn't a no DQ match or a no anything match. It was just a match, 12-man tag match, and they just fought all over the building and everywhere, and on the stage and on the ramp and at the ringside and the crowd and So now they can say, well, now they're in a cage, they won't be able to do all that. Well, what the fuck else are they going to do now? We've seen them do 20 minutes of every goddamn thing. Now we're going to fucking put them all in a cage in the same fucking place. And
I got nothing.
It used to be that you would have a regular match, and the finish is where you would spill out of the crowd, out of the ring, whatever, necessitating a cage match so that they couldn't escape or get away, whatever. Not we'll book the cage match, then we'll have them wrestle first and get out of control, so next week they'll be in a cage. How did you know they were going to... So, and then, because it's going to be unintelligible, Brian, if we go through this show in chronological order.
Of course, nothing.
They keep coming back to this shit. Should we talk about the other part of the 12-man and the 12-man now and then go back to the other thing? Because the whole goddamn thing didn't make any sense.
I think we should go in order because that exemplifies actually more of the craziness.
All right, well, people keep notes.
This is a big time of year. Every year, the build-up to Forbidden Door produces the
Flush Pizza
worst wrestling
Straight
television
sucker
and major promotion of the year. Every year it exposes
nice win there, boys.
The lack of booking.
That's a good win there, boys.
Like a traditional wrestling television show in America. Too much of a focus on matches. The introduction of people who have never been there before, but you're somehow supposed to understand what the hell's happening every year. This is the big...
A guy comes out here a little while, folks, and we've read his name.
Getting some wins.
But he's never actually been on a show, to my knowledge, and he comes out and the heels or the baby faces are trying to insult him, and they wonder why the people don't care. They don't know who the fuck he even is. Why do you care what they say about him? All right, well, the point is they set that 12-man tag match up, and there's more on that later to come.
Now, I'm glad you watched a lot of this episode of Dynamite. This was one of the worst episodes of Dynamite ever, I think.
Well, just now, keep a grip on, they're going to have a 12-man tag match, and they're going to add a stipulation to this 12-man tonight before they get to the 12-man with the same people in the cage on the pay-per-views. Keep that down in your mind. Put that over, as my Medicare consultant said, put that over in your column A over there, where we're going to do that. And then here came Kenny. And they give Kenny a squash match. He's been there since the start. If a squash match is going to do nothing at this point for Kenny. But when they fucking bring new guys in that ought to make a splash, they go 20 minutes with Jack and Jill. All right, anyway, Kenny beats poor Tony Nese, and then he tries to talk. But before he even speaks, music plays. And here comes TMDK. Zack Sabre Jr., Mikey Nichols, and I thought he was a movie director from the 60s.
Mike Nichols.
This is his son, then, the younger one, Mikey. Mikey Nichols and Bad Dude Tito. Brad, you've read this name to us before. I didn't have any visual representation, but does he live up to the name? Does he pass the name test, in your opinion?
Oh, I'm not the one who came up with the name test. I feel like this is the evaluation from you. That's the one we need.
I haven't seen him do anything bad yet, but he didn't have much chance. But Sabre looks like the delinquent kid in an 80s John Hughes movie. What the fuck? Again. Just unintimidating and frail. And then the other two are complete unknowns, like a Rolling Stone. And so Kenny, there's 3 of them, he gets out of the ring and starts to leave. But as he gets to the entranceway,
I don't know, man.
Here come the Buckaroos and Jungle Jackoff. And they stand next to Kenny. And Excalibur says, now they've evened the odds. He can't fucking count. Now there's 3 heels and 4 baby faces. Why did Jack come out? He wasn't necessary, as usual. So now the 4 baby faces face down to 3 heels. So Zack Sabre kicks the microphone over to Kenny so Kenny can talk. And he reveals, well, look, everybody, it's TMDK. And everybody, huh? And even makes a joke out of how nobody knows that. And they don't even know what it stands for. But
wish I didn't do it. He's going to push it.
I don't know why. That they keep letting this fucking goober speak.
He got it with a pair of queens.
It's a parody at this point. Nobody really, this is the way I understand how he kind of really sounds.
Way she goes sometimes. Way she goes.
Anybody, especially a big-time professional wrestling star, really speaks like this in this milksopish, douchebaggy, breathy, unfunny, nerdy, unintimidating, unaggressive, weird way. And nobody said, the crowd didn't say anything, the heels didn't say anything, nobody said. And then he did the, I'm going to kiss you and bang you and say goodnight to you. And he's winding up like this is some kind of big goddamn finish that he's going into it. He says, and now
4,
say
5,
it with
6.
me if you know it, everyone. And nobody said it with him.
I mean, I got nothing.
Your thoughts?
These are the big stars, the big EVPs and friends of AEW, and the lack of reaction to all this was telling, even if it was complete strangers who came out there to get involved in this angle. Sabre Jr. has been on the show a few times.
Pair of 7.
Usually probably around Forbidden Door and maybe the other event they do in Antonio Inoki's name.
And he didn't look any, at least he had clothes on this time, so we couldn't see that he's as fucking translucent and pale as a slice of deli turkey.
But these fans who sat there and didn't make any noise, it seemed like most of the night, didn't seem, either they didn't know who these guys were or they just did not care about this. And they certainly didn't react to Omega and the Bucks like they were anything special. Jack Perry's. You look at him next to the Bucks and he's tiny. Couldn't punch his way out of a wet paper bag. What's he going to do out there?
Open for some queens. Open for some 7.
You brought up an interesting point. Maybe Excalibur was right. The odds were even. 4 of them versus the 3. But the 3 heels, except for Bad Dude, the other 2's pretty minute also. But Bad Dude could have. But they did nothing.
Nothing.
So we don't know how Bad Dude is. But he's Tito. So, speaking of unknown individuals, would you like to move on to the next segment? Because this, again, they get David Finlay, he's got a pedigree, right? And they get old Chuck Connors, and they are working hard. They're 2 young, small guys, but they're working hard, and I'm giving them that. Now, I'm not going to shit all over them for their effort, and it's just that nobody gives a shit because they showed up and they've been in and out and just part of the groups and not really pushed or focused on. But they're coming through Guerrilla. And see, that's the thing. They're presented like they're already over. They're presented like you would present talent at a promotion when you've already
can't get nothing going,
the establishment period, and you've brought them in and they've gotten a string of wins and they've gotten involved with some top talent and they're recognized now, and then you would do these things with them. Tony skips all that because he thinks everybody's as goddamn OCD, a fucking minute wrestling fan as he is, and knows the details of everybody. And that's a common stumbling block for Mark Bookers who run indie shows, which is what we're dealing with here. So old Chuck Connors and David Finley are in the gorilla position about to come out, but suddenly Edge and Christian are just, they're disguised as crew people in the dark again. And they jump them and they fight into the arena. And by extension, right into the ring because it's not far away. And the fans were briefly excited. Brian, did you detect that? It was like a spike on the fucking audio level meter.
Unexpected moment of excitement, yes.
Yeah, suddenly they, and then...
The kind of excitement you need to be talked down from.
Yes, well, and that's... They got him up, and as soon as the heels bumped into the ring, they got bumped out of the ring. And then
not gonna
Edge
take
and
that
Christian
hand
got
if
the
I don't need
microphone
it.
and cut the promo, and that immediately brought the tensions down considerably.
I would have had 2 pairs. I would have had a full house.
He did a mother joke. He said, well, they named their team after their mothers, the dogs.
Buddy would have had a full house.
And then he said that since Finley's father was a famous wrestler or whatever,
nothing is straight.
He should have let David run down the inside of his leg. No, if you're gonna do jokes, number one, they should be funny. Not just this is the equivalent of ECW style shit, indie style shit.
Straight.
Let's break a lot of furniture because we don't know what we're doing.
Add a straight.
You can't come up with something that's both funny and lewd and a double entendre or something to where you could get it by on TV, or at least you're not just coming out there and saying, you know what, I fuck mothers. There's no art to that. What is I don't understand what his gimmick is, that he can be edgy, but it needs to be good material. And then Edge was a little more classy and sounded like a goddamn college professor as he explained why this rivalry is even happening to begin with. And the analogy that he drew is that the dogs think that they're Edge and Christian from 30 years ago. Because we got in the ring with the vets like
nothing
the
off the
APA
flop.
And whoever else they mentioned, we thought we'd do it all, but we had a learning curve. Well, we're your learning curve, doggies. We picked up intangibles from them. My God, it sounds like they're training to be certified public accountants instead of starting to have a fucking fight. We picked up intangibles from them, and we're going to use our old man strength on you dogs, and you'll leave housebroken pups. That wasn't bad. And nobody gave a shit. Almost complete silence most of the way through this thing because they don't care about the insults, number one, when they're not that particularly
Somebody's
good.
Somebody's got to have a flush.
Two,
yeah.
As I said earlier in the program, when nobody knows who is being insulted or has a feeling of them one way or the other strongly personally, why do you give a fuck when they're insulted, and especially if the line's not funny? Go ahead.
Yeah, this segment was pretty bad. Yeah, I was going to say before, you brought up the audience being pretty non-reactive, pretty quiet for this. No, they
6,
popped
7,
for the
8, 9.
mention of the tag teams from 30 years ago, or 25 years ago. That got a nice reaction. Some of the biggest pops of the night. The APA getting pops on other companies' wrestling shows in 2026.
But
this was not good, man. Tell me the last time there's been anything good with fucking Copeland or Christian. Either one of them. The Christian promos are
just need a 6.
Cringy's not even the word anymore because you think
7,
he's past
8,
it. He
9,
keeps going
10,
back to it. It just somehow makes it worse.
It looks to me like that Tony gives them a framework for the matches that they're going to have that he wants them to follow, and then just lets them fill in. Okay, now figure out a reason why to do all of this.
Let's go,
make
baby.
Up interviews and shit on your own that sell, and that's why it's from one week to the next, and it's either a long dramatic soliloquy that one or both members of the opposing sides are
Daddy's working for a new watch.
Any of this stuff, not just Edge and Christian, or it's
pair of Tims.
As we'll see later on when they give this goddamn long-winded interview where they went back and they got everything they ever did, and then they try to make sense out of why they'd be mad at each other now out of that. They're retrofitting all it, and they have to call back to all this shit, and it just goes on and on. It's convoluted. It's complicated. It is gibberish.
Doesn't make you want to see more of any of these people, but that was that segment.
I will say this, Thecla is the best girl promo in the business. It seems natural to her. She's got the oomph. She did like a 45-second backstage thing talking about somebody. I don't care. I like her personality and delivery and attitude.
I get a 10. It's a straight.
That's like being a nice guy in prison. But
I get a 10. It's a straight.
I agree.
And then they brought in another unheard of Japanese young lady to face Mercedes in the Owen Hart tournament female division. Goddamn, if Owen was still here, all the ribs he could do to all these people in all these matches, if he was around. They got 25 minutes for this, didn't they, Brian? Or did my clock just stop?
No,
was Mercedes' match so ugly it stopped my clock?
It went a while, and although the crowd kind of got a little lively towards the end,
I would have had a straight right there.
It went a long while.
No, I wouldn't have. Never mind.
Well, and then we get to, finally, Will Ospreay. What's he going to have to say for himself this week? I'm thinking, what are they going to do to start making him look like goddamn a world beater instead of an idiot that's following orders from the heels that hurt him? So Tony Schiavone introduces him, and out he comes. And I'm thinking, okay, here's your chance. Let's burn this down. Let's start talking about the drive and determination that you have and that you've come back from a career-ending injury. The doctors said, I may not ever wrestle again. I shouldn't wrestle again, but I'm not going to give up my dream. And my dream is going to be to win the World Heavyweight Championship at Wembley Stadium in my home country and a blah, 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 and a rah-rah and a sis-boom-bah, right? Well, he said, first off, Tony announced he got married last week. Now, that used to be a thing that you would have never not only have asked the babyface to talk about, but you would have ever allowed to be said on television because they did for the same reason.
One more club.
As the pop stars.
Nope. 3, 4, 5, nothing. I got nothing.
TV stars and any celebrities. They didn't want the fans to know they were married because that meant they were unavailable. So the wrestlers would go to great lengths, the babyfaces, to hide that they were married. But now that nobody wants to fuck any of these people, it doesn't matter.
Just need a 2.
But then Ospreay, the bright-cheeked young babyface, said, yeah, the wife said I should be on my honeymoon, but the wife said we can go to Hawaii anytime, bruv. She said, go follow your dream. So I took her upstairs and smashed the life out of her. And then I said, clean yourself up. I got to go to Houston. What the fuck in the... So the babyface announces he's getting married following announcing that he has fucked the life out of his wife, left her covered in splooge, and made her wipe herself up. What audience is this for?
Yeah, and the wife is someone on the show. It's not like some mystery woman you're supposed to think about. Now, every time you see her, you're just going to have to think of her.
Yeah, is she gonna come out covered in fucking, like, goddamn baby lotion to simulate splooge from now on?
He thought this was going to get a big babyface reaction, and instead the fans of Houston, or outside of Houston, sat there and looked at him like, you poor boy. What's wrong with you?
Well, and the thing is, he laughed at his own joke and then strutted. So the point is, here's a guy that we've said needs more help being a big baby face, especially since he's letting Moxley and the rest of the heel group push him the fuck around like a punk. So now he comes out, announces he got married, makes sexist comments about his wife that aren't funny, and then laughs at his own joke and struts over it. What a
one with a pair of threes.
Dick.
Wow.
Just an annoying dick. Like an Eddie, not a asshole heel dick, an Eddie Haskell type of dick.
No, Eddie Haskell wasn't a moron. He seems to be a moron.
Well, he was funny. He had his shit together. Maybe it was lumpy. Well, nevertheless, we'll find a different analogy. But after he finished the comedic part of the program, they introduced Swerve and Nana.
Ooh, she had three of a
Nana
kind.
comes out and insults Tony's suit, which that's a manager standby, and then kicks him out of the ring. Tell me, okay, we got this. You can go, and he goes. What would the reaction have been, I wonder, Brian, if at a Clash of Champions, if I came out for a live interview in the ring and told Jim Ross, okay, you can take off, Jim. I got this. Just fuck off.
Well, we're not going to do that, pal. Let me ask these guys something. Yeah, he would just completely go back to what he was going to do. Yeah.
Because the announcer doesn't do what the talent tells them to do. But anyway, then Swerve and Ospreay got into the scripted dialogue where they tried to express their fake animosity in a clever way. As I talked about before, contrived, convoluted, complicated. Let's figure out everything, all the interactions we've done, and then, okay, well, I could say you didn't help me there, and that's why I should be mad at you, and where were you when this happened? And they reverse engineer and retrofit their promo to make sense for why they should be mad now based on the interactions they've had in the past, rather than having the interactions they've had in the past actually lead to this point. But it doesn't matter because they're both allegedly still. Isn't Swerve still a babyface? Did he turn heel? Which side of the fence is he on now?
I think he turned heel. Didn't he try to kill Kenny?
Well, that was a while ago.
Was it? He was.
Or did he kill him again? Because it was. Well, it's so hard to keep track, but nevertheless. So the point is, they tried to gin up the reason why that they're pissed at each other, and Swerve is saying, because Swerve's talking like a baby face, because he said, man, you've changed. Because you're listening to the Death Riders. And then Swerve brings up that the Death Riders are the ones that snapped Ospreay's neck, allegedly. And that's the reason he had to have this surgery and defied death and return.
Nothing in that hand.
And Ospreay has to say, well, I haven't forgiven the Death Riders, but I've had to put it behind me because the training's working out great. So, but when they tried to snap my neck, you didn't try to help me. What the fuck? He's madder at the guy that didn't try to help him than the guys who actually tried to break his neck. And then he even admitted that Swerve had gotten hurt that night and couldn't come out to help him. So what the fuck's your problem, dude?
Without a pair of tens.
Went on. And the longer that Ospreay talks, the longer that he buries himself because he's a goof. And he could be a charming goof in limited quantities. But he was more prickish than Babyface here because he drones on so much and he sounds so fucking thick. And then he's going to end Swerve because he don't care. You're standing in my way.
Pair seven.
Then my God, Swerve is going to respond. This is going on and on. And more history. And then Swerve said something, and he set a record on an AEW program or on any program. I've heard of people getting bleeped, getting a word bleeped or a phrase bleeped. He got a whole sentence bleeped.
What did he say? I still don't know.
I can't read lips. And so he got a sentence bleeped. And then Swerve kind of sounds like a heel, but then he also kind of sounds like a fucking nerd. Here was a quote. You and I, Ospreay, we changed the conversation of what pro wrestling is supposed to be.
Just got a jack.
Oh, God damn it.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Just the fact that you would use that sentence indicates that you ain't that fucking mad, that you got that time to think up that fucking deep of a goddamn dramatic comment. So Swerve went on until finally, whatever he said that got bleeped wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back, but when he told Osprey that he had a fragile ass neck, well, that was, I've had all I could stand. And Osprey hauled off and threw a punch right at Swerve's face and missed it. Fucking missed it. Swerve wasn't moving. Go back and watch, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, go back and watch this thing in slow motion. Swerve is standing there right in front of this motherfucker, and he draws back and throws a punch and missed his fucking face and hit him in the chest. And then
nothing.
Kind of pop
it would
his
have needed a
fist
2
up
for
a
a straight
higher and followed through with it. It looked like it hit him in the. Oh my God. So then Swerve on his ass looks up at him, and Prince Nana hands Swerve about a 12-foot logging chain. So now Swerve gets up and they slowly start circling each other. Swerve
pair of sixes
with a goddamn 12-foot logging chain, and Osprey with that big right hand cocked. And they circled each other until the music hit. And then here came Dick the Boozer and the Horseman, and they surrounded the ring. And they were menacing Swerve. But Swerve says, Osprey, you really have changed. And he stepped out of the ring and left to complete dead silence. Good. And again, who is the baby face, and why the fuck am I even asking that about Osprey 8 weeks before Wembley?
Would I have a pair of threes?
Did they think that it was a good idea to have 5 heels and an obnoxious motherfucker in every sense of the word, like John Moxley, come out and fucking back up their top baby face against this? And then in the back, after this is over with, Moxley there talking to Osprey like he's
Buddy
a goddamn goofy
with
green
a pair
punk.
of sevens.
Yeah, see that?
Whatever.
Those are just words. They can't hurt you. We'll do it this way. Okay. What?
It was debatable because I had the lower card.
Their feet on Osprey and
so
pissing in his mouth while he's down there. Did you like any of this?
This was one of the worst segments I've ever seen on Dynamite. This was the worst promo segment on a show filled with bad promo segments and bad moments on the mic.
20 minutes almost.
Osprey's a moron. I've been told that before, but I've certainly come away with that conclusion just from hearing him talk.
But morons can be produced. I've seen it done.
Well, he could be produced.
They're just not doing
pair
it.
Of sixes I would have had.
And it can't be just one person. Everyone has to be produced at that point, and good luck getting that through Tony Khan. No, this was really, really bad. And slow. It slowed everything down. Slowed everything down in silence. No
potential for a flush.
If it takes that long to explain what's going on and you still didn't explain it coherently, there's a problem with the booking.
And I've said, I think before, there needs to be a court stenographer at ringside to take this in their special, way that they take it down so that the fans can get a transcript later on and try to search through and figure it out.
No hope for a flush.
Yeah, no, this was a spectacularly bad segment on a terrible, terrible episode of Dynamite.
Well, it's time now for our main event, Brian, the 12-man tag.
One with high card.
Lead to the 12-man tag. And they do we don't even know who Briscoe's team is yet. So they do a pre-tape again in the backstage, where Briscoe reveals his team, which is, he's got the members of his little job guy group there. Kyle O'Reilly, bless Kyle, Pockets, that way past stale one-note joke. Roderick Strong,
somebody
bless him,
could
what a
have
talent, stuck in this fucking mire.
Potential
and he
flush.
brings in Take a Shit, who's recently been excommunicated from the Callis family, and Darby Allin. Because they sense that maybe we need to get some goddamn
Queen
name value on this team, I guess, in this environment.
Oh, she won with the straights.
And while they're doing the interview,
we're fighting for a pair. She had a straight.
Says, and by the way, I talked to Tony, and if
so
anyone
stupid
in the match tonight gets disqualified, then they're out of the pay-per-view.
Pair threes.
Did you hear
off
that
the flop
remark that he made there like that?
I actually did not. I did not hear that. Because at this point, I was kind of checked out on the show by this point.
Exactly. Not only was it thrown out in an offhand way, but then they proceeded to have a match where everybody, literally everybody in the match did something that if you were following the rules of wrestling, that they would be disqualified for doing in front of the referee, and then nobody ever got disqualified. So why was that even said?
Yeah, you had a jack.
So it could be anyway, a 6-on-1 cage match at the pay-per-view, technically?
Well, no. Well, if somebody got disqualified,
it would only
in
be one
match,
person. Yeah, actually.
It would only be one. So it'd be 6 against 5. So you're thinking, well, maybe they're going to Iggy one out or whatever. No, nobody got disqualified.
Pair jacks off
they
the
all
hop.
did things where, because it wasn't announced as a no disqualification, anything goes match, but they still did everything they normally do.
We're talking two
building.
pairs.
So anyway, so they had the scrambled egg match. Big schmoz. There's no logic, no sense. I fast forwarded to the finish because it was just on and on with that. Mark Briscoe hits the J Driller on MJF and makes. I gotta
call it, man. 2 pairs.
Jumps up on an apron and draws the referee. That's the only manager thing he ever does. So there's no count.
Straight again.
So Mark gets up and goes to the top. But there, Kyle stops him. But Roddy tagged himself in by slapping Mark's back. At the same time, Kyle stopped Mark. So Roddy jumps down on MJF. And MJF immediately gets an armbar on him and he taps out.
Nothing.
The end.
High card, I guess.
The heels start getting blasé, kind of fake-looking heat on the baby faces while they're down. And they shit can all of them except for Mark Briscoe. And now suddenly all these baby faces are just completely goddamn paralyzed on the floor. They've been thrown from the ring for taking a bump and they're never going to get back up.
He probably has.
Obviously, they've been slipped.
He probably has the good card.
Because now MJF wants Andre to help him by holding Briscoe while he hits him. But Andre won't do it. And they argue back and forth. And Don convinces Andre, well, you got to do it. So, okay, Andre holds it. Meanwhile, all the baby faces in this company were people, even Darby Allin, all the people that take bumps through goddamn gasoline blowers and off cliffs. I'm so frazzled I can't form a cogent simile. Nobody ever gets hurt in this fucking company. They chuck them all out of the ring. Mark Briscoe's all on his own. And Andre holds him and Mark hits him. MJF hits him with the diamond ring. And all the heels pose over the top of poor old Mark Briscoe. But Andre is given the stink eye.
Every time I get a good hand, I get nothing off the flop, man.
So
always happens.
It's a muddle. It's fake. It's phony. It's
got nothing.
The heels are fighting the heels. The baby faces are fighting the baby faces.
Potentially could have had a straight, but barely happened. For me, anyway.
All righty, there you go.
Yeah, not very good. That's AEW Dynamite. Not very good. And just not very good. Just really not.
2, 3, 4. Really potential for a straight. Side.
Well, but now, Brian, you know whose fault that is.
Pair
certainly
twos,
not the talent's fault.
No potential for a straight.
The booker's fault. And the fans just don't realize how good they got it and don't react appropriately to being blessed with
I don't know why I did that.
Incredible programming
just
like this.
Just gonna bet high again.
Like AEW Dynamite?
Oh,
that kind of incredible programming?
Yeah, that kind of programming. They don't know when they They don't know what they got till it's gone. They're going to pave Tony Khan over and put up a parking lot. And
I went in there with my bare toes, really hoping for the best.
And appreciated this dreck that we're being shoved in front of our faces for our good hard-earned money when we buy a ticket. How dare they not stand up and give everything on this show a standing ovation? That's what killed the program, Brian. It's the fans' fault. That's what I've heard being said.
Boom,
well,
full
you're
house.
Obviously referencing something that has been sent to us by just a terrible amount of people over the last few days. Dave Meltzer, while reviewing AEW Dynamite with Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio, immediately started blaming the crowd there. And as it's been put and as it's going around, Dave Meltzer blames the fans.
Got nothing.
Blaming the crowd for the lack of reaction. We'll hear that in a moment.
Nothing.
But it's important to note, the thing you've been pointing out. You've only been watching for the main event stuff. And it's to see how they're going to get to Wembley, their big show. And it's been a puzzling build so far.
I think they're going to hitchhike.
Well, at the same time, the rest of the show is not very good. And all that stuff eventually catches up to you. Sometimes it's for a night. Sometimes it stays for a while. And AEW has had various moments where the stench was too much for their diehard fans. But here's Dave's take on it. And we'll stop it along the way. And you'll hear Brian Alvarez eventually get a word in. But you agree with me. That was one of the worst Dynamite episodes you've ever seen, right?
Air Force.
And imagine how much territory that takes in.
Let's go to this.
Let's move on to Dynamite. So
I got to say one thing about Dynamite.
Yes. I'm going to say a lot about it, but go ahead.
Okay. They put on a good show. I mean, actually a really good show in front of a frickin' terrible audience. I mean, that, between the Ospreay thing, you know it's bad when Tony Schiavone congratulates Will Ospreay.
Oh, got a cramp in my
butt. The biggest
butt.
reactions on the shows most weeks about
I had to stand up.
And you get the golf clap. It's like it's not even big, and I mean everyone probably expected that to be huge. And that first match was a hell of a match.
Stop, Brian. Why would it get a huge pop?
Pair of sevens.
For any of the wrestlers to announce they'd gotten married unless it was part of the angle a la Randy Savage and Elizabeth? Who gives a shit? If Jerry Lawler in the middle of the Mid-South Coliseum in 1982 had announced, hey, I just got married, it wouldn't have been nearly as big a pop as if he'd have just punched Jimmy Hart in the jaw. So why would Dave
5,
think that
6,
was
7,
huge?
just need Nate. Just need Nate.
Like, oh my God, this is happening, this is coming, and get everybody, oh no, it's not. Okay.
Nate.
Just you got married. People do that. Who gives a shit? And it didn't even say that it was
nothing.
To another one of their young lady wrestlers, Alex Mountbatten Windsor. So that might have helped a little bit, but nevertheless.
Did he have the "I smashed the shit out of her" line in his head before that bombed? Like before he didn't get the big reaction, or was that a reaction?
You know he had that line because he's not just going to say that off the top of his fucking head. He's not quick enough.
Well, let's go back to Dave Mountbatten Meltzer.
If he was coming up with shit off the top of his head, it would sound like it every once in a while.
Moxley and Daniel Garcia against Brody King and Bandito. And they did get into the last match, but the Mercedes match, like those two, my God, they worked so hard. They tried to duplicate their match from Long Beach. I don't know if it was quite as good as Long Beach, but man, Hazuki was really good. And they did get the crowd. I mean, it took them 20 minutes practically to get them.
Let me stop for 1 second.
Took them 20 minutes to get the crowd. Hazuki was great. There is Dave's problem.
Yeah.
Hazuki's immediate family couldn't identify her in the fucking morgue. Nobody knows who Hazuki is. They've never had her on the show before. And it's a couple of girls in Houston, Texas going 25 minutes at a fucking match they don't give a shit about after they've just seen two guys talk to each other for 15 minutes. They didn't give a shit about that either.
Yeah, it's wrestling bubble talk. Let's go back.
that crowd and doing everything and all these near falls and working so hard and fast. I mean, it like literally it took 20 minutes before these people would get into these matches.
Potential for a flush, still potential for a flush,
which was what it was. But it was like
10 or club.
That did get a pretty decent reaction, and I heard we'll talk about Collision later. But I heard.
Are we willing to bet on a 10 or a club?
Of course, he did.
You know, especially the entrance. But they didn't. I don't think that they added any specific matches on Collision either. But
this is all one sentence.
Yeah,
it ended.
Long. It's the worst. It's like I don't know what they could have done.
Come on.
The promos didn't get a
good
reaction.
Show?
The matches didn't get a reaction
Yes.
until the very end. And Tony booked a show thinking that he was going to have these 3 great matches on the show because he knew the Mercedes match with Hazuki.
What's her name?
Had been like literally like, people yelled at me for giving it 4 3/4 stars. That's how great the match was. For being too low. And it was one of the best women's matches ever in the United States. Ever, that match.
Christ,
and stop for a second.
I've given up with him. He knows better. He knows better. He's been watching this stuff for 50 years now.
8, 9, just hoping for a 10 or a 5.
I don't give a shit how fucking many false finishes they did. It wasn't the greatest women's match in the history of goddamn wrestling. It was a girl who does a bunch of shit that he likes and hits half of it, wrestling somebody that we've never fucking seen before, don't give 2 shits about, for nearly a half an hour. And he wonders why a wrestling crowd might be killed off by that.
So when you have that, I thought, it's going to be too bad because he's going to go and rightly so. It's a TV show. Give him 15 minutes. It can't meet what the other one is. Well, he went in there and he went with the idea that I'm giving him 22 minutes. They're going to be able to come close to duplicating that match. That was the goal. And, you have a Brody King Bandito match. And it's like, those guys are such a great team.
Well, if I may jump in
I forgot about that one before Cousin Brian tries to jump in. They had Brody King and Bandito teamed back up against Danny Garcia and Dick the Boozer. Brody King, for like 3 weeks there, was a credible single babyface. He was like a gimmick babyface, like Hacksaw Duggan, where you could feature him at or near the top of the card, and he was going for MJF in the title, and the fans enjoyed it. And now he's stuck back with this masked goof. It does his little his 21 flex, looks like one of my puppies humping the other one from behind. And he's stuck in his goofy tag team again, and they went forever. What happened to Brody King's goddamn? He could do well as an upper card gimmick single babyface.
And remember, they got
I'm sorry.
They got Brodito over as a top tag team in their company, and then that kind of ended pretty quickly, and then Brody got the
Tony just likes a cute name. Proto Coco and fucking Brodito and Fucker Mucker, and I don't know what the fuck these names are.
Let's go back to this Wrestling Observer Radio. Here's Brian Alvarez.
Yes.
This is all fine and good, but you're also performing before a live audience in a specific town. And how many people in this audience saw the first Hazuki match?
Well, the nobody had seen it in Long Beach either.
Well, the point is, they got into the match in the end, but they weren't invested in the match going in.
No, they weren't.
And they weren't invested in the Bandito match going in. And, I realize that sometimes I'm out all afternoon.
I got nothing.
I had no idea that match was taking place.
Oh, well,
absolutely no idea. It was just a cold match. It's just Brodito's facing the Death Riders.
Well,
that's all fine and good, but what's the story of that match? What's going on there? What's going to get the crowd invested from the beginning of this match? What's going to get them invested if the audience is great?
Okay, well...
Going in, it's like, it wasn't even... There was no angle shot. There was no announcement last week that Brodito was coming back. There was no angle to put this match together. It just opened with a match.
Yeah, well, it had its purpose. But it was Houston, Texas, and it was Bandito who, when he's been in Houston, Texas, gets over like crazy.
Now, wait a minute. Isn't that racist? Isn't that racist saying, well, he's in Texas and he's Hispanic, so they got to like him. He's got to get over. Would he get over just because he's Hispanic in Texas? If he got in the ring and dropped his pants and took a squirt of the shit out in the middle? Oh, yay! Hey, he's one of us. He shits just like we do.
Has he worked in Houston before or anywhere near Houston? We really don't know. But yeah, Brodito was a pretty big deal, and all of a sudden they're reunited on TV out of nowhere for a match with the Death Riders, which means it's literally death. Awful. Just let's go back to this.
Out that, like, you know, look, like, if you, again, Will Ospreay and Swerve have been building this thing up for this whole tournament. They were out there and they had that long promo segment, and the people didn't react. I mean,
it was also a very, very long promo segment, and Swerve's out there talking about how one day I just was sent home for 6 weeks because
I don't really know what that was.
I didn't either, and I'm sitting there thinking,
hold on again. Hold on, I forgot about that one. He said, yeah, one time I said something about somebody, they sent me home for 6 weeks. Even Dave, with the encyclopedic brain of AEW
I don't want to go all in.
They're talking in circles, doing inside shit, trying to retrofit a goddamn grudge.
If you lose both Dave and Brian in your promo, you have done something wrong as an AEW wrestler. Let's go back to this.
Crowd sitting here watching these guys talk about a lot of stuff for a long time, and I'm recapping it, kind of going, okay, what are you talking about here? I mean, it was long.
Okay, I agree. It was too long. Okay, but the fact is they're like, Swerve is one of the most over guys in the company. Will is probably right now the most over guy in the company, and they both came out and they got a tepid reaction.
Oh, I would have won with a pair of nines.
They got a weak reaction. It was stunningly weak. And it's like they're already starting below zero. I mean, this was just, I don't know what it was. You know what I mean? They were into MJF.
Can I tell him what it was? Can I tell him what it was? He's doing the Tony Khan thing. When he says Ospreay is the most over guy in the company. Actually, at one point he was. Is he right now? Or has what he's been doing over the last 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 12 weeks, however long it's been since he came back from the surgery, and he's training with the heel group, and he's doing this, and he got beat. He got beat his first match back. Then he got beat so bad the doctor stopped it. Then he let the heels train him, tell him what to do, and push him around and talk to him like a goddamn little jack-off, a guy that runs a Ferris wheel at the county fair. And now he comes out in Houston, Texas. Those people are like, yeah, that fucking English guy there, he's kind of halfway goofy, is what they were doing, because it's a cumulative effect. And Swerve was at one time, maybe he still is one of the most over guys. Why do they want to boo him against the British nerd, or cheer him against the British nerd? Maybe they just don't care about it either way. That's why they're just sitting there going, we don't want to see this.
She just sitting there pouting.
Tell us
she lost some money.
They can't.
Right now.
Pair of sixes.
Well, MJF's got something simple like MJF is a champion, and he's got a whole bunch of challengers, and he doesn't want to face a particular one. Like, this is a thing they've done on TV for a long time. Like, you know, this is...
maybe. I don't know. Did I win?
Can easily get
straight. Everyone had a straight.
This is what's happening.
Beautiful.
He's a champion.
No one lost money.
Mark Briscoe, but he's got all these challengers, and he's got to address them. I mean, even Christian and Copeland, like, no announcement they were going to be back. They just showed up.
Yeah, but
backstage segment.
In theory, Adam Copeland's a big star, and he's an ex-WWE guy. So if you're going in there,
I agree. In theory, Adam.
In theory,
I don't know why I did that.
Completely agree.
9,
the old
10,
WWE crowd that doesn't only cares about the ex-WWE guys. They didn't Adam Copeland did a very good promo, and I mean, I'm watching, going, he's doing a pretty damn good promo, and he wasn't getting a big reaction either. It was just a tough audience.
Because nobody gave a shit about who he was talking about. Nobody even knew these people. It wasn't a really particularly great promo. It was better than Christian's. But he was just talking about people that, and the way that he set it up, where we're going to be your what was the phrase he used? Your learning curve or whatever. Why do the people want to see these two fucking or three snotty heels get taught a lesson? It did. Go ahead.
And that promo was direct. Granted, they shot the angle backstage, but they've been building this up. They've been building up the dogs against Adam and Christian for weeks actually. So it's not like it's cold.
It's not, but it's also a program that everybody knows what it is. It's a thing in the middle. The big match for Cope and Christian is going to be at Wembley. It's going to be the Bucks, or it's going to be whoever.
Well, it should be a three-way ladder match. It shouldn't. And I don't think Finlay and Connor should be in there. I think it should be the FTR, Young Bucks, and Copeland and Christian.
Well, that's where it ends. And there's Dave recommending.
Where's FTR been?
I don't know. It should be a three-way ladder match. So everyone who's gonna have a nice, painful ride back from the UK, blame Dave. That's what it should be.
Yeah. Because now that he said that that's what it should be, that's what it's going to be. Because Tony can't turn that down. And of course, then you have a three-way ladder match, which wastes all three teams in a crummy, goofy match instead of building up a confrontation between two teams that people can root one for and one again. But poor Brian Alvarez, should we open up a GoFundMe for his psychological fucking evaluations that he has to go through this with Dave?
No, I think he's okay so far. If he ever needs our help, he could always reach out. He would always get it. But, again, going back to this, I think the thing you said before that really resonates that I think Dave kind of ignores, and I can understand why. Just if you look at AEW's history, if you believe their pay-per-view numbers or anything else, it doesn't matter. And Dave said previously, booking doesn't matter. Specifically when talking about AEW. It doesn't matter. The booking doesn't matter. The details don't matter. But it builds up. It builds up week after week. If in one angle or one feud, you kind of get the hint that you don't need to care, and then it happens in another one, eventually you don't care. And this crowd didn't care, and this Death Riders Will Ospreay thing is garbage. Jon Moxley, for someone who's supposed to be a major star, there are more moments of dead silence in his matches than anyone else in wrestling. Go watch any Moxley match.
He has a 4 and a 7.
Not any sound.
Let's just call it.
No one reacting.
This guy's going to rob me blind.
I wish his interviews would have the no sound, because I hear people say, oh, what a great promo he is. He rambles incoherently, and we've never yet figured out what he's been trying to do for or against this company since this whole thing started. Just been gibberish.
Again, the road to Wembley. We have Forbidden Door as a speed bump on the way to get there. But
they got one in July too in Montreal. Remember that?
I didn't remember that actually. So.
Yes, they added that. So boy howdy, they got a long road to hoe.
What an uninspiring build to Wembley. Week after week, the show gets worse and worse, and the booking. Again, this is Tony. He said it. He took complete control. So all of what you're seeing right now, this is Tony Khan blowing it right now when he has a real opportunity if he could just put together some good wrestling TV shows. Back to you, Jim.
Brian, you know what you can do to save you a bunch of money and not have to even go to casinos and not have to pay for travel and pay for food and not have to pour your hard-earned money down some of those slot machines that are of questionable validity out there in the great casino land? All you have to do is stay right in your own home and go to the DraftKings casino, because that's the exclusive place to play Cashingo slots. Cashingo! That's where you combine bingo-style bonuses and slots. So imagine this, Brian. You're sitting there in the
for the
Ag Center, or possibly the Future Farmers of America meeting, and you're playing bingo. And suddenly, when you've completed your bingo and you're about to scream bingo, they slide a slot machine in there, and you immediately go into Cashingo. So then the slot machine starts spitting out the bingo cards, and you're just covered up. Can you imagine that?
Why? Why would I? Why is this? I can imagine it. Sure. I mean, it's
well, because you're going to save a bunch of money. Because new casino players right now, Kashingo style, when you play Kashingo slots, new casino players can play $5 and get, listen to this, 1,000 flex spins. And you can get them in groups of 50 a day. You can claim 50 spins a day for 20 days on your choice of over 100 slots, including the exclusive Kashingo collection.
Nice win right there.
You stick $5 in there, you're going to spin over 1,000 times. How the fuck? What kind of loser must you be to spin 1,000 times and not come out good somewhere or another? What in the world?
Well, no guarantees.
All you got to do.
To know, no guarantees.
Well, there's no guarantees, but there's goddamn mathematical odds. Your grandfather would have had to kick an old gypsy woman in the teeth for your luck to be that bad, and you don't come up with something good in 1,000 tries. If you don't, folks, fucking quit. So, download the DraftKings Casino app and sign up with the code JCE.
Pair 8, I would have had
That's
2
how
pairs,
you get those flex spins and experience Kashingo, the feature that you can't play anywhere else. Because after all, at DraftKings Casino, the crown is yours. 1,000 spins when you play $5. Holy free, holy. I don't know how they're staying in business. You'll wear the daggum thing out spinning it that many times.
3,
now be aware,
4, 5,
you're going to have to quit your job.
Oh, no. See, no, you're not. See, you go too
because you're not
or possible flush.
Too far in the wrong direction.
5 or a possible
You're not going to have to do anything except live your life the way you are now. And be reasonable and be careful and trust.
How are you going to have time to spin 1,000 times while you're still working 8 hours a day like an employed person? Go in and tell your boss, hey, take his job and shove it. I'm going to DraftKings
there would have been my win right
and
there.
Cash in on Kashingo. And then your boss will have no choice but to go, well, you've made the right decision because I'll never give you 1,000 spins. He was lucky to get one hump and a reach around at that conference in Maui.
I would have won.
Right now, folks.
I would have won at higher cards.
Casino app. Sign up with code JCE. Claim the flex spins. Experience Kashingo. 1,000 spins, 50 spins a day for 20 days. If you only pay $5, holy mackerel. There's some other stuff.
1, 2,
Brian,
3,
should I read that?
Just need a 4.
I believe you must.
It's mandated by the city and state government.
4 for a
Gambling
straight.
problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. You got to be 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. Non-withdrawable spins issued as 50 spins per day for 20 days, valid for select games only, and expire each day after 24 hours. See the terms at casino.draftkings.com.
Good potential for a flush
July
there.
22nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Really got nothing.
The crown is yours from our friends at DraftKings.
So is the oxygen tank. All right, Brian. Well, before we move on to the modern wrestling section of the program with the it wasn't modern wrestling
2 aces,
on SmackDown.
that's why
it was
she went
actual
in like
pro
that.
wrestling broke out for just a minute. But I got to mention something, and I'm looking again for this. The picture on Twitter, I saw it earlier, but of course, Shitler's reflecting pool has gone to shit like everything else that he touches. He is a lunatic and made a big deal while the world is burning because of his incompetence and piggish attitude about the goddamn reflecting pool, and had him drain it and fuck it up and put it back together. And within days, not only is the thing green from algae, but also
I hope
bottom that they painted American flag blue
straight
is peeling off.
Damn it.
And now tourists are going and reaching in and taking a piece home. as a souvenir of the goddamn paint floating in the fucking reflecting pool. But the no-bid contract that this fucking lunatic that's in charge of all of our lives now, thanks to the ignorance of almost half of our citizens, the no-bid contract that he gave out to the guy who did his swimming pool at Mar-a-Lago. Have you seen a picture of this guy, Brian?
I did, and when I first saw it, I didn't think it was real. I thought it must be like, someone's just finding some funny photo and saying this is the guy. And then I saw it on a news site. I was like, oh, this is the guy.
No, and there's multiple pictures that he always looks the same way. It looks like he fucking walked into a casting call for the Penguin. He's a movie villain. He's an aluminum siding salesman. And this is the fucking moron that got $15 million of taxpayers' money or whatever to do a bad paint job on.
Glad I went out on that one.
I encourage everybody that hadn't seen a picture of this. What is this guy's name? I've seen the picture now, but it doesn't have the name on it. We got to find this fucking guy's name. Hold on, I'm still looking.
My grandmother had this handyman, Stanley, for years, this really cool little Estonian guy. And he would come early in the morning and do whatever had to be done in the house. He would hit my grandfather's liquor cabinet and then take off. By like noon, he was gone. But Stanley, at a certain point, he like ran out of things to do. And he would just convince my grandmother. One day, I remember my dad pulling up and Stanley was painting the driveway. And my dad was like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, I'm painting the driveway. And he said, Mom, why do you have Stanley painting the driveway? And she said, he thought it may look better. He goes, what's he going to paint next? The tree? And it's like this, who thought, they better paint the floor of the reflecting pool. That will fix it. It's the stupidest idea to begin with. And then you find out it's a corrupt deal where
two pairs,
multi-million-dollar deal to do this. The whole thing is a complete disaster. They deny it. There are newscasters on every single channel doing live remotes from the pool. I saw one.
I gotta leave. I gotta leave.
You can see the amount of algae that has developed in just a few days.
Oh, we just wiped ourselves clean out.
Well, anyway, speaking of swampiness, the swampy weather must have done something for me. Where were they in SmackDown? Where were they at? What town was this?
Oh, they said it too, and I heard it.
My
they
God!
Said it too.
We wiped
the United States. They
billions of dollars in this stream,
and the first 30 minutes of this show
has been not a great day for your boy here.
Like this, still to this day, I would watch more of it. Kansas City. That's right, because Dusty lost the world title in Kansas City in 1981, 45 years ago, to Ric Flair on my birthday. But it's suddenly like a wrestling show broke out. And then we kind of went back to the way everything normally is. But this was a good match, a good angle, a good idea. And there was only the one little commercial break in the first 30 minutes to fuck with you over it. So,
and they went to it as quick as they could. When they finally got a chance to go to that commercial break, they didn't say like, goodbye, we'll be right back. They just went right to the break.
It was like, bam, here's feminine hygiene products. But anyway, if they started the show with a history package, and this is where the WWE shines because of their incredible production facility. And they managed to, because still a lot of this stuff was, said in long-winded promos, or these incidents that were in, matches or angles that took a while to get there, but they took the statement or the incident or the moment from each of those things with Cody and Gunther and Sammy that moved the story along, that you could easily understand it. It was brilliant editing, but also there is a story there. It's just that they make everybody be so long-winded these days that sometimes you zone out on it.
All I had was fours, man.
Because it point to point to point to point. So if anybody wonders what telling a story is, or what a history package is supposed to be, this was a great example of it. they distilled it down to the simplicity of who's on whose side and why are they mad. And so I thought that started the thing off right. And then they did the entrance of Sammy as a special referee, Gunther's entrance, Cody's entrance. They got the in-ring introductions. You had a big match type of feel going on. And if you want to have a main event style pro wrestling match that
9, 10.
It doesn't lose the appearance of a contest and don't use any furniture or do stupid bullshit. Nobody in the business today is better than Gunther. Can you think of anybody?
Kenny Omega.
Oh, come on. I'm being serious.
Swerve. Whose house?
The Doghouse.
Gunther is a very special wrestler, and it's weird. I'll just say it here. I had the thought on this show, not that it's a new thing and not that other people haven't said it, but you realize when you see Cody and Gunther, and Jey Uso is one of the featured people on this show, and there's a lot of people, like, you wonder how many more years does Gunther have on top? Like, how old is he now? Like, these guys are getting older, and Gunther's one of these guys, because I was thinking about it just in terms of, does he need the belt? I was watching this thinking, does Gunther need the belt or not? And I couldn't decide it, and I'm rambling, but back to you, Jim.
I think he does at some point, because he needs to be a dominant world champion to even just jack him up a little bit further. But at the same point, he's so good and he's so credible, and he's unique in that he knows what the fuck he's doing in the ring, and he can work his gimmick.
What a pair of jacks.
He's kind of made the gimmick that he doesn't have really a gimmick. He's a fucking wrestler. And the point is, you don't see him doing stunts with furniture. You can't imagine him saying, I'm going to set this thing on fire and throw you through. It's just, he's a level above the stupidity. And he's very good. And Cody can sell and can fucking come back, and their work together is good and serious. And at the same time, they brought Sammy as the referee into the fucking match. One point, Sammy backed Cody up, and Gunther cheap shotted Cody over his shoulder. And then after at one point Cody made a comeback and got to figure 4, Gunther finally got the ropes, and Gunther then argued with Sammy about getting him off of me, and Cody schoolboyed him from behind. So
5, 6,
the referee,
7, 8.
It wasn't forgotten until the finish, because you established through the match that who's he going to favor? Well, he's not really favoring anybody. He's doing the same thing, but shit's happening beyond his control. It's all part of the transformation of Sammy. Does he deserve it, or is he a victim of circumstance? And then Cody hit the crossroads, just like they did in Italy. And as he covered him, Gunther got his foot under the rope like in Italy, and Sammy stopped it too. But then Cody's arguing with Sammy.
So glad those
Sammy
spades come
Cody, but he accidentally shoved him backwards into the fucking sleeper. And then he's like, oh no. And Cody got the ropes, and Sammy has to pull Gunther off by his fucking face. He's fish hooking him in the goddamn nose. And then Gunther pie faces Sammy, and Sammy slaps Gunther. And Gunther says, fuck it, and boots him and power bombs him. And now the referee is out. And of course, and this all plays into the things, it's not a no DQ match. So the referee, under normal circumstances, once he regained consciousness, would disqualify the son of a bitch, but this is not a normal circumstance.
Disqualify him for the powerbomb or for the shove? Because obviously Sammy hit him back.
Well, for the
having no luck
can't
today,
just
man.
Fucking beat up the goddamn referee. But if it's a special referee and he can get even, blah blah blah. Point is, Sammy's laying out down there, and Cody hits the super cutter and the crossroads and a cover. There's no here comes the second referee. I'm thinking Dusty would be so happy right now because the shit's working, right? Second referee slides in. 1, 2, kick. Holy shit. And then Gunther comes back and hits his drop kick and hits the power bomb, and he's got Cody. And the referee goes down to count 1, 2. Sammy pulls a second referee out underneath the bottom rope because Sammy's up now on the floor. And Gunther's pissed. And he's arguing. And then Cody gets the sunset flip outside in from the apron into the ring. But Gunther's holding on to the ropes, and Sammy comes in a simple old spot. Kick the fucking hands and fast count it. 1, 2, 3. And the place blows, and it's beautiful. But Cody's upset, like, no, what? Not that way. And Gunther's pissed off, and Aldis is coming out yelling at Sammy. And that's where they went to the crash to the break, because they were almost 30 minutes into the show at this point, but we're not done yet. But your thoughts so far, Brian?
Pair of sevens.
Really, really good match. Sami Zayn has been excellent in this role for a little while now, where he's a babyface who's actually a heel, resenting a lot of people, and it all played out really well here. The only thing I thought, slight miss. Did Gunther let go of the ropes a slight second too early when Sammy put his foot up? Did Sammy get a good kick on his hands? It didn't seem like it, but I didn't replay it.
I don't know, because I was kind of nodding at this point because I was watching it live with the Brothers of Destruction, and I was starting to get sleepy. But this was waking me up.
And this wasn't the end of anything.
Well, because after they come back from the break, they're in Gorilla. They're in the back, and everybody's mad, and they replay all the stuff. And they're arguing with Aldis, and finally Cody stalks off and goes back out to the ring, and Gunther
2 pairs.
just grabs Sammy and just throws him up against the side of the fucking gorilla position.
Excuse me.
Levels him on a table or whatever, beats him up. And meanwhile, Cody's in the ring. I demand a restart. Get the referee out. Get Cody or get Gunther out here. It's not going to end this way. So here comes Gunther and the referee. And they start boom, boom, boom. And Gunther gets the sleeper. And he's about to put Cody out. And Cody finally, with everything he's got, he backs him up against a corner. And right then, there's Sammy has revived in the back and has dove in the ring. And he's running across the ring. And as Cody moves out of the way, Sammy gives the fucking kick in the mush to Gunther. And the referee immediately, whoa, ding, 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 ding. Cody's disqualified. Holy shit. And Sammy's now yelling at that referee and nails referee number 2. And he grabs the belt, and Cody comes up from behind Sammy like, what the fuck are you doing? When he spins him around, Sammy just instinctively... There's a lot of these things.
Guys,
if they do another one of those packages, they can show, was this an accident? Because it certainly worked out well.
Kind of
young Samuel all these
chilling out,
days.
getting some poker in.
Sammy spins around and levels Cody with the fucking belt. And then he's like, oh my God, what have I done? It's like that promo Kevin Sullivan did in Smoky Mountain after he took the golden spike to Kanemaru. He said, I didn't mean to stab the guy 47 times. It was an accident. And so anyway, he leaves both of them laying. Cody's down from the belt shot. Gunther's down from the goddamn boot. And
gonna end her.
Just
have a good one.
Is like, I don't know how this has turned out this way. And then through the rest of the show, or at least what I was able to stay awake for,